They put me in a residential school when I was 6 years old. Forced me from my family and all I'd ever known. I cried out for my mama, but she could not hear me. I was 200 miles away in Shubenacadie. They tried to break my spirit, I wouldn't let them see me cry. They held my head underwater until I almost died. I can still hear screaming deep inside of me, and I will always bear the scars of Shubenacadie. I learned how to hate, and I learned how to fight, and love had no room in my heart of stone. I fix it to an edamolo, to find love I had to forgive. With forgiveness, I found love again.
Forgiveness, I found love with forgiveness.
My name is Margaret Poulette, and I was married to Pí'kun Poulette. Actually, October 6th would have been our 6th wedding anniversary. Pí'kun was a huge part of my life. He was someone that was in my life for the last 35 years or so. And every time I saw him, before we were married and before we started seeing one another, we would always be so happy to see one another. I would go up and I would hug him, and I would watch him as he was with other people, and he would always shake their hands. And when it came time to shake my hand, I refused to shake his hand, and I would just hug him and I say, "Listen, we're beyond the handshakes. It's been a long time." So he was always a friend to me, and as was his family. Our relationship was based on a mutual respect for one another, and I believe that both of us were able to bring out the best qualities that we had in each other. Together we were a force to be reckoned with in terms of writing. I think he became a better musician because he had a goal. He wanted to be better than other people in terms of touching a human soul, touching a human heart. And throughout the time that we were together, I could witness for myself exactly how great he was at touching that human heart, which was always his goal. He wanted to make a difference in someone's life or to ease someone's pain. And he was able to do that perfectly with the music, the gift of music that he was blessed with.
My name is Joella Folds, and I'm the Executive Director and co-founder of the Celtic Colours International Festival. Prior to that, we did a lot of artist management, and one of the groups that we managed was Morning Star. I came to know Alec as a musician, as a performer through Morning Star, and they had approached us to help with their career and the development of an album and that sort of thing. Alec was a very special person. He was a communicator. He was a very sensitive, caring soul, and he had a lot of experience that he wanted to share with the world. He was a storyteller. He was a poet, but also a charismatic person. He was able to get people's attention. People would listen to him. I noticed whenever he was in front of an audience that the audience would just go quiet and listen to everything that he said and everything that he sang. And he had a mission, really, and he had his own struggles because of his residential school experience, and he wanted to be able to help other people deal with the struggle as he had dealt with it. And and his main message was one of communication and one of forgiveness and dealing with your demons and facing these things and always supportive to other people. And he really did, you know, do that in many aspects of his life. So he was a very special guy. We were excited when they wanted to do an album that really did combine his Mí'kmaq background with communication through both languages, and that was a very successful project. And he went on to build upon that and write more things and do more music. So he's really made an amazing contribution to the cultural life here.
Mí'kmaq I am, and Mí'kmaq will die.
Alex Pí'kun, he was very proud. He was a very proud man, but he was even a prouder Mí'kmaq. He believed in the traditional stuff. He believed in the way of this, our Catholic faith. But he was a proud man. He was very proud. He was very proud of what he's accomplished, of where he is and everything else. But he was never ever shy or ever hid his face because he was Mí'kmaq.
I think he was one very important person to be able to communicate the values and the importance of Mí'kmaq culture to the broader community. And because he was such a charismatic person, he communicated that really well. And I think that contributed a great deal to the local understanding and even at the national level of the connection between our cultures. And I think there are very few people that have been able to do that as well as Alec could do it. And he did it in so many ways, by combining the languages, by explaining the value system, the meaning of the different aspects of the culture, and drawing people into that. And I think that was an important contribution to bringing the cultures together.
His paraphernalia was always Mí'kmaq first than anything else. He would wear Mí'kmaq ties or headbands or chokers wherever we went. He was never ashamed of his culture. He put Mí'kmaq first and foremost, something that he was very proud of.
Well, Pí'kun was an icon. When he sings, everybody listens. Maybe the way he dressed, and maybe it's that. Wearing ribbon shirts. I always remember him wearing his ribbon shirts. His choker. He wasn't scared to show his culture. Anywhere we played. Anywhere, and I mean anywhere. He would wear his hat, and he got me, that was one of my inspiration of him, I guess, and I was wearing a hat. To this day, I still wear a hat when I play in a band. One thing about Pí'kun, he spoke his mind, and he came a long way. He came a long way.
My husband was especially proud of who he was as a Mi'kmaq person. And the one thing he always said about residential school was that they tried to take my Indianness away from me. And he said, I just want them to know that they failed. He said, whether it's a feather that I hold in my hand or whether it's a choker, a beaded choker that I've made myself and I'm wearing myself, I always like to wear these outward symbols of who I am. I remember I wrote a poem about this, about when he would prepare for a show. He would always make sure that his hair was loose, that his choker was on, that his ribbon shirt was just so, his dress pants were perfectly ironed, because he took so much pride in who he was, and even more so the message that he took it upon himself to spread to not only our Mi'kmaq people, but to the outside communities as well. And he said, I'm a professional, and I can't go out looking like a bum. Then when he was done with the show, he would tie his hair back up in the ponytail, he would take his ribbon shirt off and put his jeans back on, and then he was just Pí'kun again. When he's wearing his regalia and carrying his guitar, he's Poulette, the musician. But he was also Pí'kun, and he was Pí'kun to me.
I wrote the song Forgiveness, and how I came up with that song, we were at Rave Entertainment at the time, and we started planning the album, talking about the album, what it would contain and what we would do and what everything else that we were doing. And Alex would be telling his story to Joella Foles and Max McDonald about his residential school story, his survival story, and the effects that it had on him. And so Max and Joella turned to me, well, Richard, you're the songwriter. Why don't you just write a story about him, about his life, about his survival in the residential school? So I said, okay. So I was sitting on it for a while until it did hit me in the head, and I wrote the song, and came in with it, and they loved it, and it's history after that. And, no, I never realized that it would have such an impact on people. I never knew that it would be sung by so many different people. So many. Literally, you can almost say that the song is more famous than we were. Literally, because everybody knows the song, and everybody hums it along or sings it along or whatever it is. But I never realized, or we never even realized, that we would win the ECMA because of the song Forgiveness. But it did happen, and it was just it's like a piece of pie, and the cream of the icing on the cake was the Forgiveness and the ECMA award. And it was such a special time in our career and everything else that it was wonderful. We were one of our pinnacle performances of our careers was doing the showcase for Forgiveness at the concert, at the show at ECMA's.
I think a real highlight for connecting the two cultures happened at the East Coast Music Awards that was here in Sydney, when Morning Star was not only the winner of the Aboriginal Award, but they performed on stage one of the songs from that album. And it was an incredible reaction from the audience. They were so thrilled to hear that, and so taken with the beauty of the music and the message of the music, that it was a real watershed moment. And when they won the award, the response of the crowd was very exciting, because it was as though the whole of the East Coast was saying, yes, these are the people that we want to speak for us, and that these are the people that we feel have deserved this award.
February 21st, 2013. I was sitting in my cubbyhole at the band office, my security office, with the cameras, the monitors. And it must have been about 1:30 in the afternoon, or 2 o'clock, something like 1:30 or afternoon. and someone went into the post office. Tom was already in there. I forget what time it was. Then he came out. Could have been closer to 2, I guess. He came out, came to my window, and I got a little portal that speak through in the portal, and he just blurted it out that they found Alex. He's dead.
Yeah, I was at home that day when I heard that he died. It didn't really hit me till a few days later, because Pí'kun and I were close. Being with the guy for just about all your life, and then all of a sudden you hear that he's dead, that he had died. There was no prior illness to prepare you for his death. And it took me a couple of days to finally accept that he is dead. Sometimes even today that when I play his music, it's like an overwhelming feeling that enters the room, like he's actually there singing.
I think it was a real shock to hear that we lost Alec, and so quickly, and at a time in his life when he'd really found a new direction and a new passion, a way to use his skills and a way to use his understanding of the culture. It was, even though we've known that he had challenges over the years, this was a total shock, and it really touched me and a lot of people very deeply to think that we've lost that special person in our midst.
Oh, my reaction when I first heard of his death was total unbelief. I just said, no. And I guess for the most part I was in denial. And even to this very day, I still don't believe he's dead. And I guess the very fact that I hope that his spirit is still amongst us, and I'm sure it is. Because even when we're rehearsing for this tribute, we sort of feel that he's still here. Because we always talk about him. And I guess we'll continue to talk about him every time we get together. This is one of the few rare occasions that this band has got together. Because most of us have gone off and done our own things. And we've been very successful at it. And now it's a time for us to focus our attention to Pí'kun, because he's the one that is partly responsible to elevating us to where we are right now. Very good professional musicians. And I'm indebted to his contribution, and I'm sure a lot more other people that were touched by his music feel the same way too.
I knew there was something wrong with Kutch, and we're very close. And he said, Pí'k died. And I say, what? Pí'kun. They found him. And I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it. I said, right away, I said to myself, you know what? No, on Facebook today, it's all rumors, and I said, well, no, it can't be true anyway, no. And so I was going home. It was around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I guess, when I heard about it, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Going home, I was just like, no, it can't be. Maybe there's only a rumor. Pí'kun dead? No, can't be. And when I got home, the news was all over the place. And my wife told me, said, yeah, it's true. Wow.
And when I heard that my husband had died, my heart shattered. But at the same time, a part of me said, he's at peace now, because that's something that he was looking for such a long time. I have to deal with that. That he's not here. But he doesn't suffer anymore. And I think that what's going on tonight is an opportunity for all of us to honor him and to repay him a little bit for all of the pain that he has eased in others. And there are so many people whose lives have been impacted by him.
When I made a suggestion to George to have the original band do a tribute for Pí'kun, and I think about it, and I said, you know what? Yeah, we should. And the feather band, we never met together. This is the first time we started to jam here, and we never played together, all of us in the same room, for 30 years. It's inspiration for all of us too. And when we're practicing, we feel that he's here with us. And meeting with the guys, interesting. We're laughing. A lot of rust going all over the place. But we're doing good. And we're laughing, and we're having fun. Because we're doing this for Pí'kun. And I know that he's proud of us, meeting like this.
It's great to see that you're playing a role in paying a tribute to Alec, because he had an amazing role to play with young people, with people all over this province, and with his own culture and beyond his own culture. So I hope everyone enjoys the tribute, celebrates him in a way that he deserves, and remembers him going forward, and takes a lesson from what he's provided in terms of his message, and carries on the work that he started.
Yeah, we practicing most of his songs that he used to play, yeah. And it's like he's sitting in the room with us. No, the atmosphere is like not just the boys in the band, but him sitting there too, singing along with Gutch and Peter. Well, it's been enlightening. The more we play, the easier it gets. And we expect him to start singing. Something that you never can put aside. You can't get rid of that. You know, we tried so hard. Sometimes we had to stop in between a song to get our composure back together. We expect him to join in the band anytime or see him come walking down the steps. I hope you people have a good time with the tribute to Pí'kun Poulette. It's an honor to be here with the boys in the band, and his spirit still remains with the band. And tonight I hope the music that I provide will enlighten you like he had enlightened us in the years that we played together.
And I'm happy to be a part of this tribute, because I don't feel like I'm sad or grieving. I feel like celebrating, and I'm sure even tonight as we play, or the night that we play, is going to reflect the happiness that we have. We feel very good. We're all pretty tight, and it's like the good old times. And I think what we're going to do is that we're going to bring those good old times back to the audience, and I certainly hope you like it, because I know you will.
This evening has taken a lot of planning, and it's taken a lot of commitment from a lot of dedicated people to ensure that this evening takes place. My husband played with a lot of musicians. He played in numerous bands, and this evening, obviously without my husband here, but although he is here, he's here, musicians will be playing, and they're reuniting especially for him. And this is the proper send-off for him. This is something that he would love. He would be in his glory, because this whole evening is all about him, and it's all about the impact that he made to our Mi'kmaq community, the impact that he made to every individual that he met. And this evening we're going to have an opportunity to hear so many different people who looked up to my husband as a musician and are given an opportunity to pay tribute to him tonight. So we hope you enjoy the show this evening, and as his wife, I'm very honored, and it's a privilege to be here with you all as we share this night in his honor. Thank you.
We've resurrected the band feather, and we never took a break. We never separated. We took a 30-year break, and we've polished off our rusty musical instruments, and we've been practicing. And I've written a song about Alex. It is called Heaven's Song of Joy, and we will be singing this song later on this evening. And I hope you enjoy the song and enjoy the whole evening. And please sit back, and I will introduce the song itself when it comes time to be singing it. Thank you and good night.
Jugida, amakal dirich.